आज हम लोग बात करने वाले हैं टाइप्स ऑफ सुपर कंडक्टर्स के बारे में। पर टाइप्स ऑफ सुपर कंडक्टर बात करने के पहले हम लोग ये जानना ज़रूरी होगा, इट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर अस टू नो दैट कि व्हाट आर द मेन रीजंस ड्यू टू विच द सुपर कंडक्टिविटी इज़ बीइंग लॉस्ट. सो वी विल फर्स्ट फाइंड आउट द रीजंस for how superconductivity can be destroyed. Now, when we have this, how we get the reasons to find out how superconductivity can be destroyed, we have got mainly 4 reasons. The first reason is the temperature. This becomes the first reason. Second reason becomes the magnetic field. The third reason becomes the current density. And the fourth reason becomes the energy, the optical energy. So in brief, we can destroy the superconductivity by the application due to the 4 main factors. One is the temperature, second is the magnetic field, third is the current density, and then is the optical energy. Now let us take one by one. When we talk of temperature, we know there is a critical temperature, and that critical, if the temperature is below the critical temperature, superconductors, that is the superconducting behavior can be seen. But if the temperature is above, then it loses, then there is it is in the state of a normal conductor. So when we talk the first condition, then for the superconductors, if we increase the temperature, it means if we are increasing the temperature, then what we really find that if T is greater than Tc, then we have that superconductivity can be destroyed. So this becomes the main reasons for the destroy of the superconductivity when the temperature is more than the critical temperature. That is the first reason. If the temperature is less than the critical temperature, it is in the superconducting state. But if the temperature is more than the critical temperature, then what we see that the superconductivity is destroyed. The second condition is the magnetic field. So when we talk of the magnetic field, just the way we have spoken about the critical temperature, here also there is Hc. Hc is the critical magnetic field. This is the critical magnetic field. So what you really find that it is being seen that when H is less than Hc, superconductivity is there. But if H is greater than Hc, then the superconductivity gets lost. It means it gets destroyed. Okay. So this is another factor about the magnetic field, that it should be less than the critical magnetic field. And if it is less than the critical magnetic field, then the superconductivity is seen. If it is more than the critical magnetic field, the superconductivity is lost. So we can say that superconduct for this, it just to get destroyed, we have the condition H is greater than, rather we should write H is greater than Hc, so that the superconductivity gets destroyed. So this is the reason for the superconductivity to get lost. Next is the current density. The third one becomes the current density. Same when we talk about the critical temperature, critical magnetic field, same for the current density, we have got the critical current density. Current density is the ratio of the current to that of the area. So here we have got current density. Superconductivity can be destroyed by the application of the current density. So in this regard, what we have got that if J is greater than Jc, then the current density current density of superconductor is due to the current flowing in a superconductor should be less than the critical current density. So if we want the superconducting state, then J should be less than Jc. If J is greater than Jc, superconductivity is lost. So the next one is the optical energy. So for superconductors, for superconductivity, if we want to see the main factors, the first factor is T should be less than Tc. The second factor is that H should be less than Hc. and the third factor is that J should be less than Jc. So these are the three conditions required for any material to become a superconductor. Now next, what is important is the optical energy. When we talk about the optical energy, what is the basic things that comes in our mind is the optical energy that is in the form of h nu. H nu is the optical energy. This becomes the optical energy. So h is the Planck's constant. Nu is the frequency of the light energy which is falling on it. So if h nu is less than 3.5 kb Tc, kb is the Boltzmann constant. Boltzmann constant. And Tc is the critical temperature. Then only superconductivity. So for superconducting state, h nu should be less than 3.5 kbc. So if this is there, then what we can write that superconductivity exists. If it is more than this, then there is no superconductivity. So as a whole, if we get to see the entire relation, if we want to write, we can write it in this form. We can write the temperature dependence of HCT according to the relation HCT, which is the function critical temperature, SC0. This is 1 minus T by Tc ka whole square. So this is the relation that we have here, and here HC0 is the maximum value. So at T equals to, it is seen that at T equals to 0 Kelvin, critical magnetic field, that is HC standing for the critical magnetic field, will be maximum. Okay, so if Tc equals to 0, if we have got that, when it will be 0, when we have the condition that T is equals to critical temperature. So if this becomes equal, then what? 1 minus 1, 0. So this whole becomes 0. So this becomes 0. So this condition arises when we have got the temperature as equals to the critical temperature. When we have the temperature as equals to the critical temperature, that is, we don't require any magnetic fields. This simply gives an idea that at T equals to Tc, we don't require any magnetic field. No magnetic field is required because this becomes equals to 0. So this is condition of how we can destroy the superconductivity by the four factors: the temperature, the magnetic field, the current density, and the optical energy. For the three, if we want to have a superconducting state, then we have this all essential criteria. The temperature should be less than the critical temperature, the magnetic field should be less than the critical magnetic field, current density should be less than the critical current density, and when we have done with the optical energy, that is h nu should be less than. So we can write it here only, that is h nu should be less than 3.5 kb Tc. So these are the conditions for the superconducting state. Now if we plot a graph of HCT versus temperature, then the graph comes out like this. This becomes the state of the superconducting, and this is the normal state. This becomes the normal state. So when we plot a graph between, this is our critical temperature. So when the graph is being plotted between the critical between the magnetic field and then the temperature, so this becomes, here we can see that this is the maximum, and at this Hc becomes 0 when T is become equals to Tc. So this becomes 0 and it is maximum at this point when the temperature is 0. So this is very simple graph which gives an idea about the superconducting state and the normal state. Now we have seen that we have got two states, the superconducting state and the normal state, but we want to talk about, our main lecture is based on the types of superconductor. Now we have all these things, so based on this, let's see what is the types of superconductor. Generally there are two types of superconductor. We have got two types of superconductor, type 1 and we have got type 2. Now let's see what are the basics requirement for us to differentiate between the two. So in order to differentiate between the two, when we talk about the type 1 superconductor, then what we have got is follow the Meissner effect. They follow the very simple things to do. They follow the Meissner effect. And here that is Bn is equals to 0. That is change from superconducting to normal conducting state is sharp. So suppose if we talk about the type 1 superconductor, and if we want to plot a graph, then we get a graph between M and H. We get a graph between N and H as equals to 0, and this is superconducting and this is normal state. So this is Hc. So this is type 1. This is type 1. So in the type 1, for examples can of type 1, we'll do type 2 later. Examples can be pure Hg, mercury, we have got lead, etc. And when we talk of the susceptible behavior of type 1 superconductor, so what we get that when we plot a graph between the susceptibility and the magnetic field, then the graph comes out. This is the value that has been taken. This is 0. So here it's -1 we can take. And then this is Hc. So here also we have got Hc, and this is the normal conducting state. That is chi is equals to -1 below Hc, and chi is equals to 0 above Hc. So this is a very important relation that we need to know for the type 1 superconductor. Now when we talk about type 2 superconductor, let's do with the type 2 superconductor. Now type 2 superconductors are those which do not follow Meissner effect. So if we are plotting a graph between, again the same graph between the this is the magnetization and the magnetic field, we get a graph like this. This becomes the superconducting state and this becomes the mixed state, or we call it as a vortex. And this is, here we have got the normal state. That is, this is Hc2 if we can write, and this is Hc1. So here when we plot a graph between M versus H, we get a graph like this. So this is the superconducting state, and here we can see this is the state what we call the mixed state or the vortex, and here we have got the, after this we get the normal conductor, that is the normal superconductor. So what we really find for this type 2, they do not follow the Meissner effect. They have two critical magnetic field. They have got Hc1 and Hc2. So they are having two magnetic field, two values of Hc. Superconducting, if H is less than Hc1, we call this as perfect diamagnetic. And that is, and the vortex is the diamagnetic. So what we call, if H is less than Hc1, we call this as perfect dia. When H is Hc1 lies between, H is lying between these two values, then it is diamagnetic. And when H is greater than Hc2, we call it as the normal state. So this is a very nice way of categorizing the different states. So when it is less than Hc1, we call it perfect dia. When it is lying between Hc1 and Hc2, we call it a diamagnetic, and when it is greater than Hc2, we call it as the normal state. So this is a whole configuration, at least to understand type 1 and type 2 superconductors. At type 1 follow Meissner effect, that is the magnetic field is 0, and the examples are very well given. The graph comes out like this. I've got only one critical, that the value is Hc only, and chi is equals to -1 below Hc and chi equals to 0. That is the susceptibility below Hc and 0 above Hc. Type 2 do not follow Meissner effect. The graph comes out like this. This is the superconducting state between M and H, and this becomes the mixed state or called the vortex. And here we have got the normal conductors, and here we have got the categorizing about the dia into different way based on there are two critical values, critical Hc1 and Hc2. Based on that it has been categorized. So these are the main differences between the two, that is the type 1 and type 2 superconductor. And there are the very important thing that we have to know, that type 2 superconductors are very useful as compared to type 1. So they have large amount of current, also called hard Hc. This type 1 is called soft superconductor. It is called as soft superconductor, and this is termed as hard superconductor type 2. So the basic examples for the type 2 superconductors is yttrium, barium, copper oxide, lithium, barium, copper oxide. So these are the example based on this, and I hope you must have understood about the different types. I hope you must have understood and must have liked the class. Thank you for liking the class, thank you for listening, and please subscribe the channel.